With Ira, second row on your right.
Hey, James, you obviously had a ton of success in college. Is there a fine line between, like, because there's only so many jobs in the NFL for snappers, like, how fine is the line between a great college snapper and getting an opportunity in the NFL?
When it comes to long snappers, when transferring from college into the NFL scene, you see a lot of depth because you have guys who are they've been out for 5 years, they keep going, they keep training. So now we're facing off against probably 100 strong former long snappers who, and at the end of the day, they were in my shoes at one point. Whether they made it in because they didn't have the opportunity, or whether they made it didn't go anywhere because they didn't have the ability or skill. At the end of the day, there are people I have to face off against, and I truly believe in my own skill set. The fine line really comes down to the ability to block, your physical ability, and at the end of the day, the opportunities that a team is going to give you. At the end of the day, there's only 32 spots. There's no real backups on a 53-man roster. So getting in is the hardest part, and staying is just as hard. So, yeah.
All right, next will be Brendan, front row on your left.
Like so much of your position, I don't know if there's a way like that stats are really measured throughout the course of the season to where you end up being an All-American and winning, the best long snapper award. Did you have any idea like how close you were to that during the course of the season?
I walked into the locker room, and one of my teammates came up to me and said, "Hey, congrats on the All-American." I was like, "What?" So it was actually a real surprise to me. I wasn't really keeping up with it. I was focusing on making sure that I go about what I need to do every day, so that not only do I show out on game days, but I help my team. And at the end of the day, by not focusing on an All-American spot like that, I was able to focus on making sure I was consistent, which proved itself. Even if I didn't know that it was coming, other people were watching. So.
James, you talked about the competition of being a long snapper. How important is this pro day for you to show up in front of all 32 teams?
It's pretty important. This is probably one of the first times where I'll be directly in the eyes of the scouts, regardless of if they've seen film or not. But this will be first in person with the scouts. So for me, it's an important day. I know I've been getting individual training with coaches like Gary Zahner out in Arizona, and Jamie Cole through Casey Casper, his snapping portion. So I was able to showcase my abilities there, but that's all film that they send out. But this will be my first time in person with scouts for teams.
Do you have an idea of what the scouts are going to be looking for, what they're going to be timing, or I guess how they're going to be evaluating you?
For me, I have an idea, but at the end of the day, the scouts are going to do what they're going to do, and I know that they're going to have the best decision at the end of the day for business. And all I can do is make sure that not only is my snapping consistent, it's up to par on its speed, but at the end of the day, the fine line that we mentioned earlier, I need to be able to showcase my ability to block and show that footwork, because that's a big differentiator between snappers for going from college to NFL.
All right, next question is going to come from Zoom. Jackson.
Hey James, so a lot of us here know how important the long snapping position is here, but if you could just give us some insight as to why a roster spot or why long snapping is so important in the game of football, and especially in the NFL.
It's one of those positions where it's not really seen until there's an issue. At the end of the day, no one's going to come and pat you on the back for doing your job, but everyone's going to know once the ball either hits the ground or you lose that game-winning field goal because the kicker didn't even have a chance to kick the ball, or the punter gets tackled for loss. At the end of the day, it's a thankless position, but the importance of it, the ball starts with us. It's like a center for a quarterback. Quarterback can't do anything if he doesn't get the ball. So that's the way I approach it when it comes to my punter or my kicker. So at the end of the day, I'm making them look good, and at the end of the day, makes this team look good.
Anything else for James? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.